Here's some exciting news to all of our lovely subscribers. 𝘨𝘪𝘁𝗃𝗀𝘃 will soon be addressed as 𝘨𝑚onger. Nothing changes except for the name. But let's start today off with some quick Marvel trivia. Throughout the course of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, how many movies has Paul Bettany starred in? Leave your guesses in the comments down below and stick around to the end of the video to find out what the answer is. Let's go ahead and jump into today's video.
Agent Romanoff, you missed me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain. Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spiderman. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to 𝘨𝘪𝘁𝗃𝗀𝘃, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And one thing that's really cool to see out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is how special it is for a lot of the actors whenever they're finally casted into a role that will be in the future of the MCU. And it's really cool to see how a lot of these actors retell their experiences, first finding out that they landed a role in the Marvel Universe, and what it was like for them. And sometimes these stories are very nuanced, or sometimes there's some very interesting outlook that was considered when deciding whether or not they wanted to take on the role for a Marvel movie. For instance, we wanted to start things off looking at Simu Liu, who plays Shang-Chi in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and his whole experience finally getting casted as this iconic character was a really big deal for him.
And so my heart's thumping out of my chest. I jump up and I'm like, hello, and the divine voice of Kevin Feige, I'll never forget it. So calm, so booming. It's like, Simu, hi. We'd like you to play Shang-Chi. Also, you need to go to Comic-Con in 4 days. And I was like, what? Yeah, I don't know. I can't describe how I felt.
And while we can appreciate an iconic moment like that, it's kind of interesting when you flip the script and you take a look at Tom Holland, who, for whatever reason, it seems like Marvel may have forgotten to tell him that he actually got the role as Spider-Man.
After my final audition, they said, you'll find out tomorrow. Fast forward 6 weeks, I was still waiting, and one day Marvel just posted on their Instagram, go to our website to find out who the new Spider-Man is. And that's it. I just found out online. They didn't call me up or anything. So I ran downstairs. I was going ballistic. My poor dog Tessa was terrified.
Chris Evans' journey to become Captain America was really unique. As it turned out, he actually had a few hesitations before accepting the role as the iconic character, mostly stating that one of his biggest concerns were what it would be like having to sign on for a multiple movie deal.
If it explodes, you don't have the opportunity to kind of get your footing again. You have to dive back into a sequel.
How did you first get the role of Captain America?
By luck. You know, it was something that they were interested in me auditioning, and I was a little apprehensive, and it's kind of strange. The more I kind of resisted, the more they kind of pursued, and eventually they offered it. And it took a little bit of soul searching and talking to a few people, because I was a little tentative.
With an actress like Brie Larson jumping into Captain Marvel, apparently she had a lot of stress as well, really trying her best to keep things under wraps where she wasn't allowed to tell anyone she was involved in the movie for quite some time.
I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that I was even playing Captain Marvel for a year.
Was it a whole year?
Yes!
You couldn't tell everyone? Did you tell anybody though?
No!
You didn't.
Are you kidding me? I was so scared.
Well, what do you think they would really do? I mean, yeah, beforehand they could fire you.
Brie Larson also came in to film scenes for Avengers Endgame, not even knowing what character she was going to play just yet, as Endgame was filmed before Captain Marvel was.
I had directed a film and it premiered at Toronto, and I went from the premiere to the airport, flew to Atlanta to start shooting, had no idea what I was doing. And I arrived and they gave me a piece of paper that had it was a full page of dialogue and action, but all of it was redacted except for my one line. And I even went to hair and makeup and was like, who else is here? And they're like, we don't know. I was like, really? Like, they're not allowed to tell me either?
Apparently, Joss Whedon was a big supporter of Elizabeth Olsen jumping on for the character the Scarlet Witch, or Wanda Maximoff, and when initially pitching the character, he did promise one thing that, looking back now, didn't actually hold up in the context of WandaVision.
About this same meeting, Joss Whedon even mentioned who we were meeting about. He said, there's this character, Scarlet Witch, that I'm interested in for you to play. And then he said, and when you go home and Google her, just know that you will never, ever have to wear what she wears in the comics.
This is sort of a basic Scarlet Witch right there.
Yeah.
And that that probably made me fairly happy.
Robert Downey Jr. was at the forefront of the Marvel Cinematic Universe kicking off, and it's really interesting listening to this interview from before the first Iron Man movie released, where he talks a little bit about the prospect of working on the project. But first, we wanted to give a quick reminder, we do have a really awesome Instagram page that updates you guys on everything happening Marvel immediately. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, check it out, link in the description. There's also a ton of really awesome memes and other things that are posted on there. So make sure you guys are following that page, and let's go ahead and jump into this story.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that it hasn't been done and done well already, you know, and there's a certain destiny to it. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, obviously, I'd have been too young or not quite ready or seasoned enough to do it, but I think it's age appropriate.
As many of you already know, Mark Ruffalo was brought on board to join up the Marvel Cinematic Universe after the character was already introduced in The Incredible Hulk, and back then, the character was played by Edward Norton. Though when they were announcing Mark Ruffalo's debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at taking over the character, they kind of worded it a little bit oddly, and fans were kind of confused.
I think I went to Comic-Con.
Oh, the big
And it was a big deal. It was a top secret. They came and picked me up at my house. I got a call from my agent the night before saying, listen, look out your window at 5 o'clock in the morning. If there's a car there, you got the part. If there's not, just go back to bed.
Tom Hiddleston was brought in for a very interesting situation involving his audition process, where he first tried to get the character of Thor.
You know, I auditioned for the first Thor film 10 years ago in 2009, and I just thought I was auditioning for a movie. You know, an interesting part, an interesting movie. Back then, the Marvel universe was only, they just made Iron Man, and I was thought, oh, I'll you know, have a go. Didn't expect to be cast at all, so I can't believe I've got my own show. It's so exciting.
We have a few more interesting moments we're going to look at in just a minute, but before we jump into it, huge shout out to our Marvel Monday winner. If you guys didn't know, every single Monday we ask a challenging Marvel trivia question over on our community tab, so if you want to have a chance to have your comment featured right here in one of our videos, head over there, answer the question correctly, and maybe your answer will be in one of our upcoming videos. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Karen Gillan's actually talked a little bit about the process of getting casted for the character Nebula, and it seemed like a very straightforward process, but kind of hilarious at the same time.
Karen, do you mind?
Oh, well, I just got a call from my agent and they were like, are you willing to shave your head for a role in a Marvel film? And I said, absolutely. And then I just auditioned. And then a few auditions. This is a boring story. And then I met, how can I make this interesting? And then I met James in the studio, Shepperton, where we shot the film, and it was really exciting. And then I did a screen test and got the role. It was really appealing.
Then on the flip side, we can actually look to Chris Pratt, who also detailed some of the processes that he felt were important when he was auditioning and some of his skill sets that he would have to showcase if he thought he was going to be able to get the role.
I figured if I could just get them to believe me physically as a character that I would be mine. I really felt like James and I gelled in a nice way and seemed to have almost immediately I felt like I was right, like my spirit was right for this character, and the way I sounded was the way he'd sound. I just didn't look the part, and I wasn't walking around in like the right vehicle yet.
So what do you guys think of these moments? Do you think that it's a very special moment in these actors' careers when they found out they were getting casted into a Marvel movie? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure you are subscribed with notifications on for more videos like this uploaded every day of the week. You can also check out this other video we did on the cast of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They're not a unified team for much of the film. That's kind of the point of the Avengers.
One of the things I tried to bring to the design was the sense of realism, and then having the costume designer have that as a basis for them to work from.
We took the Maasai tribe, the color of the Maasai tribe, which is bright reds and yellows, beautiful colors, and I brought the color up. And I also added beadwork to the tabard. I chevroned the patterns and beads on that tabard, so it would look like something that could be passed on and passed down.
And the Oscar goes to, get it, okay.
And to answer the question at the beginning of the video, Paul Bettany has actually starred in 8 Marvel movies, playing as both Jarvis and as Vision, and of course he also starred in WandaVision, and made an appearance in What If as well, which brings his total counter all the way up to 10 projects from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.
it's knowing that you're not supposed to laugh and you can't help but laugh. So yeah, probably with her.
Stop it!
Where is it?
I didn't do this to you.